be the solution to soil pollution. So we want to live in an environment that is safe for all of us, and we can benefit from it, so that we can get better crop yield in all our agricultural products or whatever that we plant. Now, just I want to look at other stories that are making headlines. And now, the government has called on. The government has called for collaboration to tackle woes in the sugar sector. Now, remember, the sugar sector has been mad with a lot of politics. And now, the principal secretary is saying that they need to collaborate with the farmers, and this is to find a better approach to the solution to farmers. But I understand that Mumia's sugar is back again on our shelves in the stores. It was missing for a while, but now it is back again. So they need to tackle that and work hand in hand with the farmers to ensure that we do not have strikes, go slows, and everything else that comes with it. And this is a good move by the government. I applaud the government for doing that. And now, please, I want to hear your questions and your answers as well, and your comments about, first of all, the ugali flour that is made from grass. Ugali flour made from grass. So they just want to extract something. And I wish Jackie was here. I know she would be opposing this, but again, it is good. It doesn't look, from the pictures that I have on my phone, it doesn't look like it's bad ugali. It's very good. So what do you think? Would you eat ugali that is made from grass? Would you eat that? Now, please give me your answer on our social media platform, that is on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and on Instagram. And remember to like our video and click that bell. Once you're in Facebook and YouTube, click that bell so that every time we go live, you will get a notification and you'll know, so that you join us. We don't want you to miss anything in our show this morning. Now, it is a bit cold, very cold. I am actually feeling the cold from here. So I wonder if how you're feeling, but I will warm you up. Do not worry about that. I will warm you up right here on our show. Now, we want to just go on a very, really short breather, but we will be back, and we'll be handling this and soil management. And I want to know, would you eat ugali that is made from grass? And this is an invention of the 25-year-old lady from Kabarak University. See you after the small break.
Farmers is the home of Africa Farmers Club, and by extension, African farmers. The whole idea behind farmers is to transform the image of an African farmer from a producer into an agripreneur, somebody who actually does not think about how to produce onions, but how much is going to be used to produce onions, and so that way then they can be able to transform their vision. They can be able to look at their farms as businesses, and they can be able to know when to engage with the market. What we have done is that we have developed a hub where farmers bring their information, bring their questions, their challenges, and other farmers are there to come out and help. Facebook has not just been instrumental. Facebook has been a working partner for myself as well. And Facebook has actually transformed the way we relate, an open platform. My background is in tech, and I know you cannot build a platform that can reach out to so many people. Initially, it was just a few farmers in 2 counties, Machakos County and Kajiado counties, but now it has transformed. We have a stronger membership from Nigeria and Zambia than even Kenya itself, And the reason behind this is the messages I get from different farmers across Africa. And then something interesting came to my mind, and I thought about using the camera. Every time I visited farmers, I would be able to post in the community, in the group, in my own profile, and just share the story of the farmer that I visited. And then I asked myself, why wouldn't I get this information, develop it in a way that other people can be able to benefit. If we go for a training, how do we capture that so that those who are not, the farmers who are not able to come for that training can still benefit? And hence the birth of a farmers media. Our mission as an organization is to help farmers, African farmers, to attain knowledge and grow profits.
If you can hear me, Robert. Good morning. Good morning, if you can hear me. Good morning.
Right. Does she have speaker? Yeah.
Good
Right.
morning.
No. I have.
Back Mwakio as we get to discuss about soil management and looking at some of the stories that are making headlines in agriculture this morning.
I can
And
hear.
I'm,
I can hear.
good morning.
You should-
Project has been started to commercialize livestock farming, and this is in Marsabit County. This is a good move also. The good news is just coming in from our sector, and this is an agriculture sector. And another thing is that tea farmers have threatened to sue the ex-directors over funds misuse. Now, the KTDA directors in Embu and tea farmers had taken a new twist after a section of growers had sued them for misuse of funds. These are the funds that are saved by the farmers, so they want to know how the funds have been used. And I don't know, Robert,
Sijui
if you
kama
can
mnaweza
hear me this
nisikia from
morning. Good morning,
I can hear
Robert.
you. I don't know.
I
Good
can hear
morning.
you
How are
now.
you? Oh, perfect. Finally.
Good morning.
It's been a challenge trying to get you guys. How are you?
I'm fine. We are sorry for that.
Oh yeah, technology for now. We are still there. We
We're
are
getting
trying our
there.
best in technology.
Yes, but we will get there finally.
Yes, true, true, true that.
Now,
Hey, it's cold.
now
It's very
there's a
cold
story
today.
here about a student who has invented ugali flour that is made from grass.
Y- Yeah, I mean, let me tell you, it was long overdue because we've always wanted to have innovations in agriculture,
Mhm.
and that is quite a good move because we need alternatives. Remember, we've been talking about this the whole week. I mean, we cannot solely rely on having ugali made from corn all the time.
Yeah.
Seriously, it reaches a point that we need to diversify our taste. Kudos to that young lady who's done that. And what the government needs to do now is just to support and go full fully into funding her research and providing all the necessary funding supports and set up a factory to make grass because grass grows faster than maize anyway. And I'm sure the process of making the garlic grass is not, or garlic flour is quite easy. So I believe this is something that needs more research and more involvement by so many stakeholders. You see, the president yesterday, the president was talking about having more innovation. In fact, the president was talking about involving inviting world leaders, world technological leaders from Facebook, Twitter, Google, and whatnot to Kenya, and them talking to young people and mentoring them. And we're seeing we have young talents here in Africa, here in Kenya, who can do all this. So we need, first of all, need to put more funds in research. We have brilliant young minds in this country. We can go far. So it's all relates to how much the government can be able to put in terms of research and incubating such young talents across the country. We are not short of stupid people. We have uh, very many brilliant young minds in this country. So we need to tap on that.
Well, yes, and I was just asking another thing. Don't you think that will be going against what we've been saying about overgrazing? Because if we've been talking about overgrazing, this means we need to also conserve our environment. But now, if we start making the flour from grass, aren't we going against what we've been saying all along?
I mean, land set aside for grazing is land for grazing, and land is put aside for grass. It will definitely be put aside for grass. So grass, land for grass. I don't think will interfere with the biodiversity of all the ecological balance of animals eating on the same grass. I'm sure people just and probably there are I think about 300 species of grass. So we also need to know which kind of grass the lady is specifically using. And I was being told there was a serious debate in one of the groups yesterday that people are saying that grass won't be sustainable because if it's our own cows that are suffering from getting enough grass, will we be able to get grass for our own use? And my answer is if we are given the opportunity, there'll be large chunks of land that can be used, just grow grass and use that. But research needs to be done, so we cannot make conclusions now because this lady is just in a phase called the testing phase. And probably if other institutions like KEBS come in and certify it and make it fit for human consumption. Throw it to the shelves, let people buy. The choice is ours. But what we need to do is change a shift that the dynamics or our our tongues, the way we are used to eating ugali. Let's try to eat something else. Let's try other things. We won't die by eating grass. I believe so.
So we won't die by eating grass. Yes,
Yeah, we
and
won't
I'm
die
just
by eating grass.
just an update that we have also been joined by another guest right here on Afama's Media Breakfast Show. Be quite lively right here. And now, probably, if I give him a chance to introduce himself also. Good morning, if you can hear me. Good morning. Okay, we're just going to discuss that also, and he's going to join us and tell us his thoughts about all the story about ugali flour that is made from grass And again, we delve into our discussion this morning about soil management. We apologize for that little hiccup. We'll be sorting it out as we continue. As Mwakio has said, technology, but we're getting there. Step by step, we are getting there. Now, Mwakio, are you still here? Okay, we're also looking at that. Now, I want to pick your brain about something, and this is to everyone who's watching us this morning. Do you think that we need to change what we've been doing? Because this is just a question I'm posing it out to you. And do you understand soil fertility? You go to the farm every morning, you wake up, you go to the farm, you plant your maize, you plant your beans. Do you know about soil fertility? And this is something that we'll be discussing also as we do soil management. And this is a topic. And as I said before, this is a build-up. From Monday, we'll be discussing about soil. So we want to really concentrate on soil this week. So we're working on that the whole of this week. And I want you to tell me if you know about soil fertility. Do you know your soil? Because that is what we want. That is the basis of everything. And this is, soil is the partner, the silent partner for farming. So yes, I just want to know if you know your soil and what is soil fertility. Now you can give us your answer on our social media platforms. And this is on Facebook at Farmers Media, on Twitter at Farmers Media, on YouTube at Farmers Media, and on Instagram at Farmers_Media. Farmers_Media, that is on Instagram. And we're going to be looking at that. Kindly let's take a really short break. We will be back and we get to discuss with our guests who are here today this morning.
Land preparation is a very important practice in the farm that ensures good yields from the crops to be grown. It helps against pest attacks and also helps in control of crop diseases in the farm. Its main purpose is to provide the best soil condition which will ensure successful establishments of plants. The steps involves finding the best garden, testing the soil, digging the farm, raising the soil to prepare the seedbed, softening the soil through harrowing of the land to a fine tilth, making the seedbed level, then finally making the drills for planting. The land will be ready for planting.
Welcome back to a Farmers Media Breakfast Show. We really apologize for that, but we're back with a bang. And of course, I hope you're here. You didn't leave us. And now I am joined by, of course, Robert Mwakio, and we have a guest this morning, and this is an agronomist, and we'll just get to pick his brain about everything. And this is from the ugali flour made from grass, as that is just one of the stories. And then we delve into soil management since he is an expert and an agronomist. Good morning. Can you all hear me? Good morning, Robert Mokio.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, Christian. Can you hear
Confirming
me?
if you can hear me. Good morning. Yes, of course, we'll get to that. Now, I want to understand if all of you people, as I said, our viewers, I said that you tell us if you understand what soil management is and soil fertility. Please tell us on our social media platforms. I can see Florence is already here. Good morning. And she's saying that she will not eat ugali made from grass. She's sticking to that. Ugali grass is for cows, and anasema yeye atakula ng'ombe, not the grass or the ugali from the grass, but she's going to eat the meat from the cow. So yes, that is Florence, and that is just her thoughts. I would like to know, understand, and know if you would do that. Would you eat ugali made from grass flour? I mean, we're just picking the carbohydrates and putting them enzymatic. This is from the partners, and what I'm reading from that story is that the enzymes are being taken from the grass. And this is the carbohydrates, and it is ground so that it can make a flour. And that is quite, it's interesting, but I think that, and I feel it is going against our norms, and our norms is that grass is made for cows and sheep and goats. So I don't think that we should go and start eating what the animals or the
Can
cattle
I
are
cut
supposed
you
to be
short,
eating, because now we
Christian?
will be messing with their food. I mean, they don't come and eat what we eat. They do, but again, we have to coexist. So, in the spirit of coexistence, I feel like we will be going off as human beings if we start making the ugali from grass. But that is just my thought. What are your thoughts? I just want to know, what are your thoughts, because that is what I think personally. And I want to understand this because it is not getting in my head this morning. I saw it yesterday and I discussed it a little bit with Jackie. But again, I just want to know, I want to understand. So, yes, back to you, Mwakio, if you can hear me.
I was just laughing. You saying that. I'm laughing at you saying that grass are naturally made for cows. Do you know that grass? Do you know that grass originally was meant for cows, and even the grass. I'm talking about maize. Maize, the corn that we are eating was actually specifically made for cows. So one way or another, we found it in our table. In North America, corn is basically food for a cow. So it's just the same thing as having grass. So that's something that we need to pound on. Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah. So anyway, this debate. I mean, next time we'll have somebody coming up with another thing. The only thing is, what is the content, the food content of flour? What do we get out of the unga that we eat ugali? What is the content? I mean, I told you there are things like there are other nutritional benefits we get from things like finger millet, unga ya wimbi. That's what they tell you when you go home. Ukikula ile unga ya wimbi, the one that your grandmother makes for you at home. It's very rich and it's very and you get satisfied very well. You ask yourself, why haven't we focused ourselves on eating finger millet, but we still eating the same corn? Are we cast to eat corn or we just can't change? So I'm expecting you ukienda December holiday go and eat ugali ya wimbi.
Sorry, you said what? If I go for the December holidays?
Next time you're going, kula ugali ya wimbi. Eat lots of that finger millet ugali. Let's change our mindset, man. So some of these it's more nutritious.
I agree with you. I'll take the Wimby
Yes.
one. But when it comes to grass, I'm a bit skeptical. Mimi hiyo bado haijani convince vizuri unless you try and convince me again, because I feel like we are eating what the cows are supposed to be eating. Na tutawanyanyasa. As human beings will delve on that, because imagine it is 35 Kenya shillings per kg. So I feel like if we start eating it, we will go and finish that unga.
But the same way you're saying that we feel like it's cow food. Corn is mind is cow food also. You know, these things were brought to us. They were not indigenous to Africa. You need to know that also. These things were also brought by the colonizers to Africa, and we found ourselves eating it, and it becoming our staple food. We had our staple food before the colonizers, so you need also to so that mindset that we have. Yeah, can you imagine what our forefathers used to eat before then? So kabisa, me, I will always advocate for changing diet. These other ula balloons, we can forget about it. Let's focus on uh, drought-resistant crops that used to be indigenous to Africa from way then to now. Because right now we're just fumbling with these exotic crops that were initially not even meant for our African climate. So we have our indigenous crops, so we can continue feeding on them.
Okay, and maybe we just
So
get to hear the
something to think
thoughts
about.
and maybe welcome our guest this morning. And this is an agronomist and an expert in this field that we're talking about. Maybe if you can hear me, good morning. Good morning. Okay, he'll be getting back to us, and we're still talking. And I feel I'm not yet convinced, but I will just have to take a breather and just think about it and sleep over it, thinking if I can really, I would take ugali from cassava, I would take ugali from millet and sorghum, but from grass, that one I'm still going to have to really, 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 really just to mention that we have a campaign, and this is aflatoxin campaign that has been funded by European nation and implement. Visit the Markup Unido website, and there you will get to learn about aflatoxins, where it comes from. I'm sure you didn't know that it comes from the soil. That is the source of aflatoxins, and it affects even groundnuts and any other products that are derived from nuts. And we also will be running that campaign, so you can visit our website www.afarmers with a z at the end.com, www.afarmers.com, and you will get to understand about aflatoxins. Now, let us get into soil management. And soil management, how do you manage? Just the way you manage your house, the way you manage your finances. We'll get to discuss it. And as always, I have my notebook ready and my pen. I hope you also do, because you want to get right to it. Now, Mwakio, what are your thoughts on soil management?
Sorry, I was talking alone here. Technology, I tell you.
Yes.
Okay, now this is our second last topic of the week in soil, everything soil,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we'll be finalizing in soil rejuvenation probably tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Today we are talking about soil management. Soil management is actually the one step away, one step away to rejuvenating your soil. First of all, it's very important that you understand how to manage your soil, and there's so many uh, bits and pieces that you can do or you can learn so that you can manage your soil effectively. Yeah. So soil management is a bigger part of ecological rejuvenation. So what I mean is that rejuvenation of the ecology, things like creating new soils, rejuvenating soil health, and minimizing issues regarding to topsoil. And remember, I talked about carbonation yesterday.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, carbonation is very important to soil health, and that's why you're seeing some people burning their soil, their farmlands before actually starting to plow. It's an easier way, less costly, and but it has also its challenges because it's part of the pollution that we have, and some of these things, some of the chemicals that we have, some of these plants, or some of these things that are growing on our farm, we do not know chemical composition, especially those that have been sprayed. So you can burn it and end up contaminating the soil for that matter. So I think we're having Onderi with us. Agronomist Onderi, can you
Yes,
hear us?
of course.
Uh, th-
He's here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Onderi.
I'm Jared Ongeri. Good morning. Do you hear me?
Good morning. Yeah, we
Yes,
can hear
you
Yes.
you.
can hear me.
How have you been? How's your morning?
My morning is good.
Naona uko shambani tayari.
Yeah, mi niko shambani. Niko mashambani. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm happy to
mashambani, eh? Okay, that is good to know.
mashambani. I'm happy to
Haya,
meet you.
umetoa video tena. Okay. Aha.
Merudi hiyo. Niko shida kidogo mahali.
Nilikuwa nawaambia watu bana, sisi wakulima tuna shida kidogo na teknolojia, lakini tutawezana tu.
Eh,
Christine, usitucheke.
eh. Tutajaribu technology. Sisi tunaendelea farming.
Eh, eh,
Technology itatufuata nyuma.
technology technology iko na sekta yake, kulima iko na sekta yake.
Unajua unajua what some things that people do assume that it's technology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Actually it isn't.
Yes.
Unajua sasa sisi wakulima we are based on a reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Tukipata hii ndio inafaulu, we do away with the technology and we go our way.
You have not told us where you are joining us from.
Yeah, I'm Jared Ongeri Nyakundi. I'm from Kisii. This is Kitutu Masaba constituency,
Mm-hmm.
Nyamira
Okay.
County.
Exactly which Nyamira County.
Nyamira County, but my land is just at the boundary. It stretches to Kisii land, Kisii County.
Uko karibu na Keroka hapo hivyo, ndo najua kuna hiyo boda, laini ya boda hiyo ya
Yeah. Teremuka chini kidogo, teremuka Keroka, teremuka hiyo mteremko kidogo mkubwa, hiyo mteremka hiyo kubwa
hiyo njia
kabisa
ya
Kisii.
kwenda Kibirigo, na hiyo inaenda
Ya kwenda
Kibirigo, Kibirigo.
Kebiriko.
Eh,
Kebirigo. Hiyo sasa ni before Keroka. Sasa enda past Keroka.
And is it
ukienda kama unaenda
kunyesha pande hiyo?
Jana kumenyesha kidogo, lakini unajua in Kisiland we do ask when will it stop raining, because if we didn't rain yesterday, definitely tomorrow it will rain.
Kwa
Yeah, that
hivyo
is good. We
hamuulizi
are happy
mvua
for you.
inakuja lini, mnauliza inaisha lini.
Hiyo sasa. Unakwama unlike other places where unaenda unakwama na fumbi, in Busiland unakwama na matope, the real matope sasa. Yes.
Kwa hivyo inamaanisha in your area you do a lot of farming in that area because it is fertile almost all around the year. Kutoka January mpaka December it is just fertile soil.
Actually, if we start talking about farming in this area, it's it's because it's lanes. It's only that they have for special season for planting maize, special season for planting beans. But if because I came to realize that by doing so, it's like it's a good season whereby pests are not going to destroy those crops, because when they plant beans, there is no spraying at all. When they plant maize, there is no spraying at all. Yeah, because the other day I tried to plant maize past the season, and I got them.
Wow. So it is
Parasite.
not dependent on a season.
All of that
I
by
don't know,
stock
Mwakio,
powder.
if you can hear this, that they do not even use pesticides in that area.
Actually, no
Yeah,
pesticides at all.
I know some
But
places they
but
don't even
but
use
but
fertilizer.
but when I planted maize off season, they were attacked by stock. Like now, if you can see, this is and the other challenge is that the area is so the land is we call it imekatwa kidogo kidogo fragments.
Fragmentation.
Okay.
Because if I can start counting like this land, you can actually say that somebody is having around 10, and the other guy has 10 footsteps, and this is what we call land fragmentation.
Wow. And
But the
Mwakio,
area,
you keep
but
telling me about crop rotation. I don't know if that is a good area also for rotation, just as Mwakio keeps telling me about crop rotation and the
Just
importance of
to add,
segmentation in the farms.
Christine, let me add something. You know, he's talked about fragmentation. What he's trying to mean is that the land is divided into
small
big and
portions.
small pieces. Yeah. So there's no way somebody can practice crop rotation in such a place because there's no land. You know, we talked about this topic probably I think some couple of weeks back, where we said some of these the most productive land in Kenya are the most subdivided. I mean, reaches a point we won't even be having land for farming because if you have that a small, like it's shown as a small piece of land there that I don't even think that can be even economically viable for somebody to do anything. Unaona hiyo umetuonesha hiyo kidogo hiyo. Sasa hapo if you are to say to buy to plant and sell utatoa nini hapo kwa hiyo shamba kidogo yenye umeweka mbao hapo?
Hata sijakusikia umekatika katika.
Nasema you see kuna that small land that is umeka fence ya mbao. There's a fence. So in such a small piece, what can you do that can be productive? What can you be able to produce out of that and sell to the farmer, to the mwananchi huko nje? Ni nini unaweza tengeneza kwa hiyo shamba dogo?
Hapa Kisii nafikiria unalima ile kitu itaweza mea na ile kitu una assume kwa market ya kwamba utaweza pata. Kwa mfano saa hii it's a small piece of land but ukiangalia mzuri ni kama ndizi ndio zinaendelea, unafikiria ndio zimepandwa, lakini hizi zilikuwa zimepandwa lakini zikakuwa ignored. They can do better. And actually, if you can see clearly, you can see there is Napier coming up. I think it's 4 rides. 4 rains. But but but
Yeah,
next you can
basically
say
what I'm asking. Yes.
next you can say we have bananas and
Mm-hmm.
maize.
Yes.
Actually, the only thing you can farm is what you believe that can do better, can assist you, but not actually for selling.
Mm-hmm.
True. So subsistence is what
But
we are
but
talking about
but
here.
sometimes we have vegetables. You can plant vegetables,
Mm-hmm.
and after homestead use, and if you get somebody who's passing by, you can say to him.
Mm.
But I think
True. True.
farming in this area is not sustainable because there's no land actually, or I can say because uh, land management
Mm-hmm.
is somehow poor.
And I think you're the best person for this discussion because we're speaking about soil management. And now that portions ni ndogo za kupanda, how do
Mhm.
you know that your soil is fertile? Wewe umekuwa mkulima, you're an agronomist, unafanya farming most
Pardon?
of the year round.
But
How do you know that your soil is fertile and how do you manage that soil?
uh, this this soil, I think it's naturally rich because if they can plant maize or actually they plant maize 2 times a year, and it's planted continuously each and every year. There's maize in this soil. Are you getting
So
me?
2 times a
Uh,
year.
uh,
So that
uh,
means you harvest your maize in 2 seasons the whole year.
yeah, 2 seasons because by December 25, 25th, they are planting the next year patch of maize and beans. That's Marawi.
Wow. And now, does the soil texture change due to over farming, or because I have seen
Uh,
bananas, I have seen napier grass, and you've told me about maize and beans. So, does the soil texture change due to so much tillage? Because ukivuna mahindi, upande
mhm,
maragwe, alafu bado kuna
mhm,
ndizi, soil texture
mhm.
inabadilika kweli?
When I've never seen that because they use fertilizer. We usually use fertilizer, and when we plant beans, it's intercropping, whereby you plant maize and beans. And the only challenge is that when you are doing maybe napier grass, you can't do banana inside because napier grass tend to finish bananas. Yeah.
Wow, Mwakio, if you're still here with us, Robert Mwakio.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm very much here.
Okay, now back to you. What do you think ni manufaa gani ambayo yanaleta mtu akitumia fertilizer, which is better, manual fertilizer ama ile manual fertilizer, I mean ile anatumia the products that he was using before, anatumia hizo kutengeneza manure kama the products kutoka kwa kuku, ng'ombe, hiyo manure, which is better, manure ama fertilizer, kulingana na mchanga ya where you come from? Hello, if you can hear me, unanisikia kweli?
He probably muted himself. Is he there?
No, I still can't hear him. Mwakio, what do you think is better for that
Probably.
soil, because you were talking to me about fragmentation?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest issues that we are experiencing in the most fertile areas in Kenya. There's a lot of defragmentation due to the cost of land. Uh, Traditionally, cost of land in highland areas of Kenya and the most productive areas in Kenya is very expensive. places like Kisii as one of the most fragmented areas in Kenya. And right now, we've gotten on Derek. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Uh-huh.
You are talking about which is better between manure and use of fertilizer.
Yes.
Actually, it is. I think, on my own opinion, soil enrichment need to be a continuation process whereby you continue enriching your soil using farm manure.
Mm-hmm.
And because farming in Kenya, you need not to do gambling. You need to be including fertilizer. But that now that depends whether if the soil is enriched with manure, then you are going to use less fertilizer than the required one, the scientific research one.
And as Mwakio is just telling me about the fragmentation, and this, I have seen the small portions of land, which is
Yeah.
better to use. And he's telling me about fertile soils. The most fertile soils have a problem with fragmentation. So, is there high crop yield from the small fragments? Unapata mboga enough, unapata mahindi mengi, unavuna chakula mingi, ama ni kidogo kidogo kulingana na the size of land.
Yeah, you see, everything depend on your input. That's maybe your energy, the input of your energy, uh, because actually we have ile capacity a certain kind of portion of land can yield,
Yes.
but also this can depend on your input, your energy. Kama ni kujaribu kuenrich hii soil na farm manure, and you are not trying to take that farm manure to that farm, then you are going to be forced to use fertilizer. And what if you don't have maybe enough money or capital to buy this fertilizer? Then I think the yield will be not as expected. But what I believe, personally, I have a small place whereby it was poor actually, and I have tried to enrich it with the farm manure, and actually in a continuation move of subsidizing it with the fertilizer, because sometimes the farm manure takes time to decompose and enrich the soil so that you can have the next fair harvest.
And
But personally,
now I
personally,
know
I
that
believe,
Robert Mwakio is for soil testing. Lakini Jared, tukianza ulisema mambo ya technology tuache nyuma kidogo. Uh, kwa
you
hivyo
see,
sijui,
you see, you see, you see
unafikiriaje, is
sometimes.
it good for farmers to take the soil for testing? Mtu anachukua for biological analysis, anatuma
I,
samples ndio
I,
ajue what type of soil, what is the
yeah,
pH, how is the humidity in that
yeah,
area,
it
na ataweza kupanda
actually,
nini. Do you advocate for
actually,
that? Because umesema
actually,
mambo ya technology tuache, ukulima ikuwe tu ukulima.
sio hivyo kweli.
Uh-huh.
Where appropriate, we need to embrace that technology of soil testing. But I do believe there is nobody who has ever tried to test soil in Kisiland. I believe so. Maybe the reason is because the land is so small, that's fragmentation, and maybe if it was free on soil testing, he will invest his energy on testing the soil by planting any plant that will do good, and he will acknowledge it now. This is the best way to test this soil. If you maybe he tries maize and fail, he will try bananas. If banana will be successful, then he will say now this soil is good for bananas. But technology, it needs, it's an investment actually, whereby you need to put money so that this technology can assist you. Yeah.
And Mwakio, if you're still here with us, Mwakio,
Yes.
Mwakio, if you
How?
can hear me.
Yes, I'm still here. I'm following closely, and I'm really liking that
If you can hear me, Mwakio.
I'm really liking that the fact that people
Okay.
in Kisii no longer are not testing soil. That shows the confidence. Huh? It shows the confidence that we have in soils in Kisii.
Mhm.
I don't know if I can be heard.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, so that shows the confidence people have in Kisii in terms of soil, meaning that we have not reached the heights that people have overcropped or over indulged in agricultural activities that we that warrant soil tests. You know, the soil test comes when you start looking at the yields out of what you're getting from your land, and you see as we can move, we are seeing Sonderi passing very green leafy places. That shows that the nitrogen level in the soil is quite good. See,
Mhm.
you can see by the leaves how the leaves are from the plants around him. So meaning
Yes.
that some of these soils don't even need test by just looking at the crops around there.
Mhm. Wow. And
Yeah.
back to you, Mr. Jared Ongeri.
Yes.
What is the relationship between soil fertility, plant health, and probably pesticide resistance and everything that plants and pests and diseases? Is there a relationship between all those factors? Soil fertility, the health of the plant, and pests and diseases.
I think there's a huge relationship
Mm-hmm.
which is directly proportional. Whereby if you get mm, good soil, plants will do better. Process the plants. If the plant is so healthy, the I think the pest will not be able, because if the plant is has enough wired minerals, I think it will be hard for pests to attack. Yeah.
And because we talk about fertility, what do we
Pardon?
mean tukisema hii mchanga iko na rotuba? Sijui kama hiyo ndio Kiswahili wanasema, yes,
Uh-huh.
iko na rotuba. What do we really
Uh-huh.
mean by that? Because tunaweza kuwa tukisema fertile soil, na kuna mkulima pale anatuangalia,
Mm.
anatutazama asubuhi na anasema yeye anapata mavuno, lakini how can we tell if soil is fertile? Just by looking or planting, how can we tell that this is fertile soil?
Uh, I can remember so well when you know we have our ancestors whereby they tried to move from this Kisi area and go and in search of land elsewhere. That's like places like Kitale. That's places like Goseta. I can remember my grandfather used to go to Goseta, and somewhere in Mau, that's Kamaora, a teacher farm. You see, when we used to go there and they want to bring the information back that the land that they got is so fertile, they just go there and pluck some leaves of some trees, some leaves of some trees, and they put it on a sack, and they come back with those leaves to Kisi, and they tell other people that these are the plants that are growing there.
Wow. Uh-huh.
And actually, on my own imagination, I used to say, well, which means that the soil resembles this soil of Kusi Highlands. Yeah, because if they can with the ribs of, for example, Ekemogomogi, that's the blackjack, uh, and some other trees actually. Mm. And they used to say that then definitely if these plants grows this area, then definitely that's a fertile land.
You said the blackjack is called, you can teach me that in Kisi.
Ekemogomogia, the blackjack,
Ekemogia.
Ekemogomogia. Yeah, the Biden Pirosa. Ekemogomogia.
So it's called Ekemogomogia.
Yeah. You talked about I think in the last topic you were talking about grass and unga.
Yes, I was.
The way I know is that grass may be food, maybe a good food for human. It's only we don't have a way of converting it. Like this, I think this is can be vegetables to Kikuyus. I had seen them using this as vegetables.
Yes.
And somewhere and there's a word that I used to see people from Taita Tafeta using as delicious uh, vegetables. But here they are,
It's called
but
Mukimba.
but but here they are weeds. Even the cows don't eat. Yeah, it means that you may die with hunger, not knowing that what is next to you is food.
So, what I get is that Mr. Ongeri, you are advocating, you are saying it is okay to make unga from grass.
Actually, if it's possible, if I'm not sure because I'm not tested that ongo sometimes I can give out that it's good. Mm. We
So
have
the
not
good news
eaten so
is,
that
Mr. Ongeri, that there's a student who has managed to make unga from grass, and with her partners, they are
yeah.
taking the carbohydrates from the grass and they are making unga, and a kilogram is going for 35 Kenya shillings.
But um, some what is challenging is that somebody to extract the carbon. That's what, I don't know if it's much. I don't. Uh, where
You're
you
kind of breaking
use
up, Mr. Ongeri. Please, can you kindly take that up again? I didn't quite hear you.
I was saying
Uh-huh.
I was saying that somebody may use a lot of energy to extract the starch from grass, whereby if we was to use the same energy, it was to produce a lot of what is sustainable, because you can use the whole day to extract of grass. It's not viable. It's only that some people want uh, to be known that they can discover something, which is okay actually, because there is a musemo in ecosystem that eh? Yani, in that process of trying to extract something, that is food for us for human consumption,
Yes.
uh, it may read as elsewhere because those are the research that are required. But I don't believe that now we need to advocate that now we need to use grass whereby we are going to spend a lot of energy in in extracting the starch from grass.
Wow. And now going
I think
back
you can.
to soil management,
I,
what are some of the
yeah,
agricultural practices that farmers can do to help manage soil? Because we know that there are some practices which harm the soil, but there are others. So which ones are
yeah.
those good ones?
You see, those not only need to be taught in books, they actually need to be practical. Like building gabions to stop soil erosion. That's trying to use mulching, uh, building terraces whereby instead of water flowing back to the river, it is just getting into the soil. And actually, crop rotation. If you try to do crop rotation, I think you will manage uh, to get your soil being remain in a stable condition. Yeah.
So in your area, is it able for you to do crop rotation, given the small portions of land and the fragmentation and the seasons that it takes for the crops to grow? Are you able to do crop rotation in your area?
You see, the challenge is all about uh, people are brainwashed with the maize and beans, whereby they believe if this year you never planted maize, then you did you are finished. Actually, the idea is already remains in the mind, whereby it's upon somebody to believe that now I need to do crop rotation, or this season I'm not going to plow this piece of land. I just let it settle just like that, so that it can build up. Like now, this area, I think it has taken me time without cutting any grass here. You see, because there are my bees around here. I'm checking on my bees. Just in these fragmented areas whereby people believe that bees are not supposed to be put. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I
I
think you
hear you,
can
Mr.
see.
Ongeri.
Do you see my bees here?
Okay,
Or
and I will
getting.
still continue. We're still continuing the discussion on soil management, and we are engaging agronomist Mr. Jared Ongeri, and of course, Robert Mwakio is here with us. Mwakio, if you can hear me, it is quite true that I have learned that with the small fragmentations, you are unable to. Crop rotation is possible, but again, it is a hurdle as well. Now, Mwakio, you were telling me about the biomass in the soil. And I can see that Mr. Agronomist Ongeri is here with us. You were telling us something about fragmentation and crop rotation.
Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Ongeri, if you can hear me.
Okay, you can hear. Oh, but on the
Yes.
question, please. You were asking
You
me
were
about.
still explaining to us about how farmers can manage agricultural practices that can help good soil management.
Yeah. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. Crop rotation is possible. Uh, but as I said earlier, it's all about misconception, all the concept that people are using to do their farming. Yeah. Uh, but I believe that crop rotation, not necessary that everybody needs to be planting maize and beans the way most people are doing it here. Yeah, and actually, you see, and we have another challenge whereby people it's difficult for people to return. For example, the maize stocks. I think the maize stocks are supposed to go back to the farm, but because the land is so small, people tend to cut it off from the field. They put them aside instead of chopping them small so that they can create the biomass of the soil. Yeah.
So you're saying that the maize stalks are good for adding the biomass of the soil. But again, is that not also, can't the maize stalks be used as food for cattle if someone is practicing dairy farming as well as agricultural farming?
Yeah, it's true, but the challenge sometimes comes in whereby you may get somebody who's not doing dairy farming. Now that's where the challenge come in, and they may tend to sell to somebody. It may tend to sell the stock to somebody who has those dairies, see, whereby you see it's like taking away, it's like taking away all the mineral from your farm because you I think by the time you cut all the stocks and you take them away, it's like you are putting the soil even more poor.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. And I am learning quite a lot this morning, even from the small areas from agronomist Jared Dongeri. And Mwakio, if you're here, you've been gone for a while. Mwakio, if you can hear me. Mwakio, if you are here with us.
Robert
Okay, we are
Mwakio,
still talking
Yeah, I'm here.
about
I'm still
soil
here. I'm
management,
still here.
and I'm learning a lot. And this is yesterday we talked about carbonation. Today we're talking about soil management and some of the practices that can be done. Now, Mwakio, I can see you're back here with us, and just a quick one. Are there probably rules or rules of engagement when it comes to land use, and who follows that up to ensure that they are enabled as well in our areas? What some of the policies, and this is something that also Mr. Ongeri will have to tell us, because you will probably enlighten us. Tell us more about the rules that are there for land use, and Wakio, you maybe chip in about biomass that is produced by some of the plants in our areas.
I think I'm going to go ahead.
yes, I think the government has put everything in a place about the land use,
Yes.
but the implementation it's just in the books. Uh, but if the policies were to be taken seriously, I think most issues were to to be solved. Like mostly the challenge we have here in Gusii Highlands is that the government had put policies whereby the eucalyptus SPP is not supposed to be planted near the rivers, but it's everywhere. The policies are there. The policies are there whereby somebody is supposed to plant these species that is eucalyptus. And maybe if you want to plant eucalyptus in your farm, you need to plant it around 3 meters away from the boundary of your farm. But it's just in the books.
So
And we have
there is no one to follow up these implementations, because if they're just in books and they've been put in place, so is there no follow up? Is there no one who just reports back to the government that we have seen that this area, whatever we had proposed, is working and the implementations are working? Is there no follow up for these implementations that have been put in place?
most reports are written. That's why in Kenya we have the written constitutions. And the people who are supposed to implement those four policies, we call them the people of Mushara. And you understand, anybody we call the people of Mushara, if he's not paid the way he or she wants, he won't implement those policies. And sometimes some policies are difficult to implement, like waking up. The policies have been reluctant to be implemented, and then you wake up just one morning and just start saying that eucalyptus SPPs are not supposed to be near rivers without suggesting alternatives. You see, some things like changes are just like they need to be implemented in a revolutionary form, whereby it's time that dictate that a certain process will evolve to a certain change. You see, yeah,
So
and
this maybe before they implement, they need to also engage the farmers and the locals to know what is working for them and what is the option. So they're just saying you
yeah,
stop planting the eucalyptus without providing a possible solution for if we don't this, or an option. If we are
yeah,
not going
yeah,
to
yeah,
plant this, maybe we plant another plant in the area that we are planting eucalyptus. Is that the challenge, where the policies are
yeah.
being put without consultation from the farmers?
Exactly. It's like the implementer. So I actually came to run. If who are supposed to implement those policies, they are not aware whether those policies do exist. And we have you see the use of land resource is supposed to be refilled. You see, like we have actually, of course, in Musi Highlands we have overpopulations, but I don't think whether we are overpopulated enough as people say. The only challenges is the policy on land use, because here in Kisii, you see, we have also those tradition whereby I'm not maybe if I want to build my home, I would also build my toilets, because I'm not supposed to share my toilet with my parents. It's
Yes.
like a taboo. It's like a taboo, you see, whereby in a place whereby I was to build a tree, maybe I was to plant an avocado tree there. You see, such policies, and also we have those taboos, those traditions, and you see, actually, in Hussein Highlands, everybody has his own way to go to his boma, the path.
Yes.
Everybody want to have his own gate, his own path. You see,
Mm-hmm.
and actually, if it was possible, everybody was to have his own fence. And some fences are just meaningless. Whereby, if for example, the Kisi, and you see, we have abundance rainfall. And actually, sometimes I do start to imagine if the Kisii County or Nyamira County was to lay down a policy whereby they say that every boundary, every Yantos area, we can call them boundary, the boundary from one farm to another man's farm. You see, instead of planting, teach this. Useless boundaries using Kayabo, using maybe Tichona SPP. Eh? We just uproot all such useless boundaries. We plant, for example, either tea or coffee, and for demarcation purposes. Mm. And maybe and then they discuss on how maybe if they plant one line of coffee or two lines and in between is the boundary, everybody to continue planting is actually will come to learn that Kisii County will produce coffee that will feed the whole of Europe
Sorry,
just
that
on the
would feed the
boundaries
whole of.
instead of it can supply coffee for the whole of Europe because everybody has
Really?
his
You
own
mean
boundary.
Kisii County can produce coffee that can serve the whole of Europe? That is quite
Yeah,
interesting.
if actually we uproot these useless boundaries, I mean, you see here in Kisii, I said the reason why land is fragments. Eh? It's because everyone want to create his part, his toilet, his chikoni. You see, you see, eh? Instead of sharing. Now, if the government lays a policy whereby we do away with the useless boundaries. Mm. Now, for example, if you can say, here, there's a boundary here, and what if we uproot now this and we plant coffee, for example,
Yes, I see
and
it.
this boundary stretches up to 5 kilometers. What do you think?
Wow.
A
Uh,
stretch of one line.
Makio, maybe you chip in because I am just amazed at how much coffee can be planted in that area because, and I see it. So, Makio, if you're here with us,
Yeah, I'm
Robert
here.
Makio.
I'm just following up. I'm following up everything Sandera is telling us here. And you see, that is the biggest challenge that we have in not only in the Kisi Highlands, even in central province, where land fragmentation has been a major issue. Much land can be used here in Kenya for industrial purposes, but when it continues subdividing into smaller pieces, having these boundaries, having pathways, having people fencing up, we end up losing huge chunks of land as we do such when you like accumulate the number of wasted land for that purpose, you can imagine how much acreage you can be able to dedicate just for coffee. Though we cannot overtake the likes of Ethiopia or Brazil in the export of coffee, but we can generally increase the production output of coffee from the highlands of Kenya. So as he says that we need to purely dedicate. I'm sure there are very many cooperatives in Kisi where people can come together and they market land or just give land so that it can be used dedicated for coffee. And I know in your side of Idigiro, there are so many places where people do tea and they sell their tea on market. I know there's several places here in Nyamira where they sell tea and coffee. That means that hope you can hear me.
Yes, yes, I
Hope
can
you
hear
can
you.
be able to hear me.
Yes, we can hear you loud and
Yeah.
clear.
For a moment I thought I was lost. Yeah. So yeah. Can you hear me again?
Yes,
Yes,
I can hear
yes.
Okay, okay. I was saying now
Maki,
we need to dedicate. Yes,
Maki,
yeah,
you
we
were
need to
talking about
dedicate.
cooperatives.
Yeah, there's need for cooperatives. If farmers can join hands and dedicate land and have one unit of kind of output. I mean, you do your coffee or you do your tea the way
Yeah,
people do in
yeah,
Yamia,
yeah.
and
There
then
used to be,
sell.
there used to be those such cooperatives,
Mhm.
and I think such cooperatives needed the government energy more so that they can function well. And the challenge is that here in Gusii Island, actually I can't say whether we have land or we don't have because the challenge is just misappropriations. Yeah,
Yeah, and the problem with this cooperative,
and
they're heavily mismanaged and a
yeah,
lot of politics.
yeah, politics, mismanagement, and maybe sometimes such cooperatives will need to be financed for the
Mhm.
start so that
We were just
well,
discussing yesterday in our show of how farmers in Tarakaniti, or farmers in
yeah,
Tarakaniti joined hands together to form cooperatives in macadamia, and they're
yeah,
doing quite well when it comes to negotiation of prices for the ultimate sale to the market. You see, when you have
yeah.
a cooperative, you have one powerful voice. So probably Jackie can explain about that story from yesterday about the macadamia and the cooperative in the story that we read of Nation yesterday.
Yes, and actually, cooperatives are good because they get to even control the prices. This ensures that the middlemen are cut off. So, is there no cooperatives? Just as Mwakio is asking, Mr. Wongeri, are there no cooperatives
Yes,
that can engage the government in even uprooting those, as you've called them, useless fences and uh, planting the coffee so that we can help the farmers control even the prices?
you see, what I do mean is the cooperative sometimes uh, it's difficult to start some cooperatives because you see sometimes you realize that because of the people can't speak one voice because the land may involve a lot of parties, and actually when we have a lot of parties we may get oppositions whereby people may not like your ideas. But I do think if it was to be a government policy whereby they pass a certain law saying that must be done like this, actually it's only that I do believe that people maybe may refuse to think positively. Those who are in power actually, they refuse. To think positively so that they can create ideas that can assist the communities. I don't know. I don't know.
And so, Mr. Jared,
Yes.
yesterday as I was reading something, I came across a point that said that soil is the silent partner of a farmer. How true is that, and why is it called a silent partner? I mean, I just want to understand that point as we get, because you are an agronomist and you do so much in farming. So, how is soil a silent partner?
You see, if actually we were to consider everything and we started to classify soil, we can say that soil is land, whereby everything that is happening on earth happen actually it's end up happening on the soil. Uh, Now, if now when we come to the actual farming now, this soil is offering to the farmer. If the soil doesn't admire you well, I don't think whether it will produce anything. Therefore, you need to be talking nicely to this soil so that it can do you better by actually trying to put fertilizer and maybe trying to enrich this soil with the farm manure.
Yes. And I've just picked a point that soil has to admire you well to give you good produce. Mwakio, did you hear that? That soil has to
I heard that.
kind
I
of
heard that.
admire you enough to give you
Because
food.
actually,
So if soil does not like
actually,
you, probably you will have low crop yield.
you have no nothing. You harvest nothing. It's like planting bonds. Utafuna kipogoyo. Ukipanda tu mifupa utafuna kipogoyo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and don't you think that kupanda kibogoyo, kuvuna
Mm,
kibogoyo na kupanda mifupa, are we not the cause
mm.
of it because someone is maybe overcropping? Are we for soil to admire you? You have to do something. So what is this thing that you have to do so that soil can really admire you? Because if I probably put a lot of fertilizer, then of course the
Yeah.
soil will not admire me. So what are some of these things so that someone who's watching us can know how soil can admire them?
You see, sometimes now this can is all about crop management,
Mhm,
whereby you need to till this land nicely
mhm,
and plant nicely by creating a fair spacing,
mhm,
and then after that you take care of these plants, whereby you are not going to allow weeds to overgrow than the plants.
mhm.
Mm. And
Wow.
actually by doing what is necessary to this soil.
Mhm,
If like sometimes when I talk, I do assume that some places are like New Zealand, whereby it rains, whereby actually I've never used any irrigation since I was born here in Kisii. Mm.
Very
Uh,
lucky.
if
Yeah,
it's
though.
other places, if it's other places, I've traveled enough. Actually, I've gone to several places here in Kenya. Actually, I've traveled around 77% of Kenya and 3% of East Africa.
Wait, okay, okay,
And
okay.
therefore, those places whereby there's no lane, people need to invest a lot on how to trap water or to do irrigations. Like I have a place whereby I go and fit. That's Giri Giri near Marura Lunch. The area sometimes it's dry, but we have a river there known as Moridat,
Mhm,
and sometimes the soil around that area is so fertile, but the only challenge is water. Now, if we get an opportunity to feed this soil with water, I think now this is where I do believe that cooperatives need to come in. They form a certain, they raise money, they create a system whereby they can they can channel water to their soils so that this soil can be more happy and produce better.
wow, that is quite
Yeah.
quite interesting. Wakio, I'm sure you've heard about no irrigation where Mr. Jared comes from. I don't know, and you were saying that they are very lucky Maybe you could take that up again, Wakio.
Makio ameenda breakfast ama namna gani?
Wakio, I hope you're here with us.
You see, madam, can you remind me your name, please?
Christine Mutindi. Christine.
Christine Muchindi.
Yes, Christine.
Oh, Christina. Christina, you see, maybe he has gone for breakfast. You see the challenge we have in Africa. mm,
Mhm.
is that somebody when you see it's like when somebody is doing things alone, he does them better when he's alone. I
Yes.
don't know why. I don't know why. That's why if you consider athletics in Kenya is doing better because it's an individual investment energy. You see,
Yes.
the football is doing very poor because it's a group. Hmm?
Hmm.
I think you understand the point that I'm trying to drive derive.
Yes,
Hmm?
I understand your point, and that is why I get where you're coming from when we talk about cooperatives in your area. I get it is
Yeah,
coming from that exactly what you're saying. And
yeah,
just a quick one. You told me that you have traveled 77% in Kenya and 33%
yes,
in
yes.
East Africa.
3%
And you have
East
said that
Africa.
irrigation is one of the problems. But again, how is the management of soil in those areas that you have visited? In as much as there's water shortage, how is the soil
Yeah,
management so that the soil can retain water? Because I understand also soil can retain water to help in productivity of the
because
crop. So
bec-
how is the
bec-
soil
I
management in
don't,
the areas that you have visited?
the soil management is so poor
Mhm.
because when sometimes it rains, it wash away even the topsoil, whereby it creates soil erosions, huge soil erosions. And because you see the soil management uh, consists of several packages, whereby even planting trees, not only trees, certain species of trees include in it's inclusive in such soil management.
Mhm.
People are not interested in planting trees in those areas.
Mhm.
I don't know whether the problem is seedlings.
Mhm.
I don't know because I do believe during the rainy season, if you plant a trees and even if it's going to dry up for a while, the tree may grow up.
Yes.
Actually, those are challenges, and sometimes in those areas you just come to realize that if we have trees around, it's not an individual. It's not a policy that guides people that maybe along the roads we need to be planting a certain space or certain species of trees.
Mhm.
You see, the actually sometimes it's an individual energy whereby if you have the energy, you can plant trees,
Mhm.
maybe in your farm
Yes.
or part of your farm.
Wow. And
And because there's no lane, it's like that area is neglected. It's like people do assume that now if there's no lane, then this land is useless.
Mhm.
But if people were to synergize, they combine their energies, whereby everybody is supposed to do a certain contribution according
Mhm.
to the ability one has. I think people were to do great things.
Yes, and I hear you. So this means that in as much as it is individual work, you also have to work together. Everyone puts in effort to ensure that soil is well managed. Now, Now, just
Yes, I
looking
believe
at
in.
soil
Yes,
management and what has been happening so far, where people get fertilizers and all that, and they put them in the crops, and we have some areas that have drought. And Mwakio, if Robert Mwakio, if you're back with us, maybe we were speaking about irrigation, and you mentioned something about irrigation. I would like to you to say that, but Mr. Jared,
Yes.
our fertilizer, because we get subsidy by the government to get fertilizer, and is it that we are misusing this fertilizer? Because some of the areas people have planted, but right now there is no rain, and they've already bought the
But on
fertilizer. So
your
is
voice,
it an
your
issue
voice.
of fertilizer or
Repeat,
overuse of
repeat.
land?
You got lost. Your voice got lost.
Sorry,
Pardon?
I was saying the issue of fertilizers right now
Yes.
in Kenya,
Yes.
where we get
Yes.
fertilizer and people just use fertilizer. Some others do not even measure the amount of fertilizer, and this has seen the crop productivity reducing at a great level. Is it
Yeah.
overuse of fertilizer that we are implementing? Because I understand that you, and as an agronomist, you know the amount of fertilizer. So how can one measure, according to the portion of land, how much fertilizer or manure are they supposed to put in portions? How do they
You see.
measure that?
You
And
see.
according
You
also to the
see.
crop, is it dependent on the
You
crop,
see.
or how do they use the fertilizer for the soil to be healthy?
Actually, sometimes it's so challenging that now this is where science gets in. Uh, you know, I have also worked in the right industries whereby I know productions, how it's done.
Yes.
And sometimes I do relate this to fertilizers, whereby sometimes you see there are human beings who are manufacturing these fertilizers,
Mm-hmm.
and actually I do believe that they can compromise the quality.
Mm-hmm.
They may, because it's somebody who is employed, you see,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe the bureau standards of Kenya, maybe if they don't have even that ability, they are just the bureaus. They don't have that capacity that they can detect it, that maybe this fertilizer is of poor quality. You see,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
able or they don't have that capacity. But anyway, what I can say is that sometimes in production, a worker can compromise a quality of a certain production. I'm talking it through the experience whereby I am aware that this is a substandard good,
Mm-hmm.
but because of circumstances, maybe I want to secure my job.
Yes.
Hmm, I can't I can't report this case that I have produced a substandard good, whereby it's
Mm-hmm.
not supposed to go to the market.
Mm-hmm.
It means that a farmer can easily fertilizer of raw quality can easily run into the hands of a farmer, whereby even if he's going to try that fertilizer,
Mm-hmm.
the yield will be frustrating.
Wow. And that
And
is quite
actually,
interesting, and it is sad that someone who is
yeah,
working would compromise the product, so that and this affect in turn affects even the product and the crop yield, and also the soil of the farmer. And Mwakio, are you here with us? Robert Mwakio?
I'm here and I'm following. I'm following. Silent follower.
Brilliant.
Yes, you can get me.
Yes, we can. We had lost you for a minute.
I'm the silent follower here today. Acha
No,
pia
please
mimi
don't be the
nipate
silent
mafunzo.
follower.
secondly,
Mhm.
secondly, this fertilizer when it may be of good quality and
Mhm.
it has run safely to the farmer's hand.
Yes.
But the education system now, the education system that is supposed to educate us farmers, maybe we are not sure. Even that fertilizer, they have not indicated that maybe you are going to use a 50 kgs bag in 1 acre. Even we are not aware, our parcel of land is how many hectares. You see, those challenges, those vipimos, it sometimes comes to be difficult that we are not able to know ni kiwango gani tunastahili kuwekea hii mimea yetu fertilizer, you see. And actually, I don't believe whether even if we know that hiyo kiwango yenye ilitumika kupima ati ni fertilizer gani, because you see sometimes if this land is fertile, you know, there are some lands that are naturally fertile even if you are not going to use fertilizers. For instance, like in Narok, actually if you go and pick at the bush, plant maize, you will
Yes.
harvest just like somebody else who planted using fertilizers in Eldoret.
Wow, and that is really
You
quite
see,
interesting.
to be
Wakio, if you chip in about fertilizers, what are your thoughts? Please don't be the silent follower.
Now I'm leaving, getting people like Jared is very hard these days, I
Yes.
was talking to one of our directors, he's telling us, he's been trying to reach out some of the experts. And at this time of the year, how things are very, very complicated, people are up and down. And I really want to thank you, Jared, for joining us and giving us very insightful information. I have so many of my followers who are, I think, probably Christine, you will go through the comments later on. They
Yes.
are very interested and they are following and really appreciate what you are teaching them. Yeah. In fertilizers, I was following one of the conversation yesterday by Jackie was having a conversation with one of the directors of an organization. I just forgot the name, and she was saying that the problem with fertilizers is the abuse that we are abusing fertilizers here in Kenya. Fertilizer is just supposed to be something like medicine. Now, when you're feeling sick, when you have a headache, you take Panadols just to help you, recover. Yeah. But right now we've made fertilizer part of agriculture. I mean, we cannot do agriculture without fertilizer. We're not even allowing. We need to understand the overuse of agriculture of fertilizer use and its implication to agriculture in the final run, especially as we progress. So I don't know what your take, Bwana Onderi.
Maybe I think there's an error. There's an error here. Let me check on my settings a little
Yes.
bit.
We can see you. We can get you. Yeah. So the issue is overuse of agriculture.
Yes, I'm back.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Now you can repeat your question, please.
I went to a place in Sidindi in Ugenya, and
Yes.
people, it's just almost like Kisi. People are doing very good farming, very good agriculture, very good maize plantation, but they're never using fertilizers. The only problem is those people are not fully into agricultural activities. They don't practice agriculture for commercial purposes, maybe just for your own subsistence use. So when that left me thinking, it's people who actually overindulge in agriculture that end up exploiting fertilizer use, because there are places here in Kenya, even there are places in Kitale where people don't use fertilizer so much. Do you
Yes,
think
and
fertilizer is overrated?
Yes, and I actually like the fact that Ongeri has said that education to the farmers. The fertilizer might be good, but again, there is no education to the farmers and how to use the fertilizer on what type of soil. And this is all in a bid to help us manage ourselves. These are very good comments, and I'll just to read through the comments so that at least we get to understand.
other
We have
sectors.
Fiona Luta who's asking, speaking of farmers and their use of fertilizers, do they read instructions on the labels before usage. So is this also a problem where they do not look at the labels? And maybe this is to you, Mr. Ongeri. Do you think some of the
Yeah,
farmers
you
do not
see,
even read the instructions?
yes, yes, some farmers actually, you see, education in Kenya just came yesterday,
Mm.
and those who just assume that we are well educated, sometimes we forget these things how they are supposed to be done. But all in all, what I can say is that even if fertilizer is well, there are well instruction about fertilizers, we need to be doing our own research. Just like construction sites, whereby where they continue construction, they just put some ballast, some concrete aside so that they can test the pressure that can be used to break them. Now, if we come back, we use the same everybody because everyone, you see, I think you have ever seen a neighbor who has planted corn and they adjusted neighbor with the same variety of corn, but they are healthy is so different. You see, that means that everybody needs to be a serious farmer to be doing his own research and keep records whereby it says that if last year I used the 1 teaspoon of fertilizer and maize were not doing well. Now this round maybe I need to be adding 2 teaspoons or
That is
something.
quite insightful, Mr. And Ongeri. And now, because we are short of time, and I would love to have you like for a whole day, and you educate us more and more. But what will be your last words, your last piece of advice to a farmer who's trying so much with soil management, and they're trying to understand what type of crop will I plant, what will I do with my soil, and you being an agronomist and having traveled so far and so much, because you have covered almost the whole of Kenya, 77%. I mean, that is almost all. So
After,
what would be your
yeah,
advice? Ndio mtu akipanda asipande mifupa avune kibogoyo. What would
Ibogoyo.
be your advice in terms of soil
you see,
management?
you see, a farmer at the first thing need to be serious. And in that process of trying your level best to be serious, you are going to create a conditional reflex whereby you keep your records, whereby if in case you start doubting some things, you refer, because sometimes I do plant some seeds somewhere and after 1 week I start asking which seed did I plant here. Those are the changes. Recording for reference or for others to refer, you create your conditional reflex that this is how this farm of mine is supposed to be managed. This is the kiwango of fertilizer that is supposed to be used in this farm,
Yes.
and you continue enriching your soil with biomass. That's creating your farm manure and everything that is
Mm.
possible to make sure that your soil produces.
Wow, that is so interesting. And now, Robert Mokio, before we let Mr. Ongeri go, probably you'd like to chip in something before we let him go because we're short on time.
Yeah, I really want to thank you so much, Banongeri, for all the insight that you've given us, especially from an agronomist point of view. And najua there's so many people out here who want to ask so many questions.
Yeah.
There's somebody called Kang Teach Kipkirui Tanui says, as permaculturists, we don't feed our crops to feed us, but we feed our soil to feed our crops to and plants so that they feed us. So, I mean, that's a very good point that he has raised when it comes to a point of our discussion today. You know, we need to understand the importance of our soils and not to abuse it, and not to overdo agriculture. You know, they say too much of something is again dangerous. So there's so many there's so many things that people are talking about in our social media page. Probably later on we'll share it out, and we'll be able to answer any question that comes out. And should anybody need to get you, Bwanangeri, how can they get you on your social media pages?
My name's are Jared Ongeri Nyakundi on Facebook. Uh, I am a bee farmer by profession, and I have been participating in permaculture platforms. Uh, and actually, my phone number is 0725 296 7773, whereby you can it's in WhatsApp.
Can you repeat that again? 072529
296
96
773. I'm on
773.
I'm on WhatsApp.
Okay, thank you so much, Bonongeri, for joining us today. And Christine, back to you.
Yeah, yes, and just thank you so much. And now that you've mentioned about bees, I remember Mwakio. You remember what we said about bees? If bees was would not be around for even 1 year, we would be extinct. After 1 year,
Yeah,
there will be no human life in this world
yeah,
if we will not have
Yeah,
bees.
actually,
And
we're talking
that
about
just
four
reminds
years
me.
to 10 years.
Yes.
If all bees went extinct today, give
Mhm.
or take 10 years, we won't be around.
Yes. That is quite interesting. And thank you so much. And just looking at one last comment here, we have Jackie Moore who's saying, very interesting topic. Healthy soil is the foundation of for profitable, productive, and environmentally sound agriculture systems. Keep up the good work, a farmers media. And those are just some of the comments that are coming in. But I have really enjoyed this show. And thank you so much, Mr. Jared, for joining us. We have learned a lot. We would love to have you over and over again to just discuss more on this. And from my end, I'd just like to end the show at that point. But please keep the comments coming on all our social media platforms. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. My name is Christine Mutindi, and it was a pleasure having agronomist Jared Dongeri, and of course, one and only Robert Mwakio, because I never walk alone, as you know. So from my end, it is bye-bye for now. Thank you so much.
Bye.
see you.